They rarely ever need any adjustment, but a few thousandths, I didn't think much of it. But I don't know if just over tighten it or it was a sign of it starting to go. Probably a sign of it starting to go. I didn't notice any cracks in it or anything at the time, so it was starting to flex probably. So something wasn't right. Yeah. I was more worried that the motor was tightening up. Whenever anybody that's ever raced, that's ever had a motor tighten up on them, they know that feeling, and that's what that thing was doing. So that's why I came in right off. And with the vibration, I knew something wasn't right.
Hey, good morning guys and gals, welcome back. Hey, we made it to the Lee USA Speedway for Octoberfest weekend. The number 16 NEMA Lite's ready to go. Waiting on the driver to show up. He'll be here soon. He was doing his hair. He just texted me, having trouble getting his eyebrows right, but he'll be along. Very excited about today. This is a track that's kind of kicked our butt all year. We've made a bunch of changes, throwing some stuff at it, and hopefully we can have a good run. 14 divisions racing today, so it's going to be a long day. Hopefully we get you a lot of good footage so you guys at home can see what we do here at the track. And like I said, welcome to the Lee USA Speedway Octoberfest weekend.
So something we're going to be dealing with all weekend, and I'm going to just put it in the video now. So we're in the infield, which is going to be sweet because we'll be able to get you a lot of footage from the main camera there. It won't all just be the GoPro stuff. However, it's going to be loud for most of the day. So we have a lot of the morning now with a lot of downtime, and we'll only be dealing with like the sounds of the generators and stuff like that. So I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to film as much as we can, because it's going to get a little tricky later when cars are on the track and passing by us. What's going on, Ben?
Not much, dude. What's up?
You here to help Uncle Matt with the car?
That's what's up. We got the tiger shades on. We're looking for podium finish this time.
Talking about the headers on the car.
Sound horn.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The sound horns. You need some high performance, high flow, low friction sound horns on your car if you want it to sound cool and go fast. So at some point between the last race and this race, we lost the Zeus button. So just trying to find one that fits. Replace it so it's more aesthetically pleasing, even though there's probably enough Zeus buttons to pull together a Formula 1 car on this thing. So
What he's trying to say is my OCD was bothering me, and I asked him to put a Zeus button because it was just an empty hole. So he's trying to say it nice, but the bottom line is, see, look at that. Does that look right? That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Just an empty goddamn hole on the side of the car.
Right now, Ryan's plugging in the battery, getting that charged because the car does not run any sort of alternator or something like that.
All right, so we're just about ready to go here at the Octoberfest weekend with the 16 NEMA Lite. Here's the game plan for the weekend. We got 2 brand new tires. How the practice goes, how the car goes in the practice. We've struggled here, we've been tight, we made some changes. So we're gonna go out in the first practice and let him just have at it with the car so we can see how the chassis reacts to the changes. If we put the new tires on, he's going to love the car. It's going to seem like it's great. So we need to try it on the old tires. We're going to make some decisions as that go when he comes in from that. If the car's still tight, we may lower the front panhard bar, maybe soften up the front springs. So who knows? It's a guessing game. We think we made the right decisions. We'll see how it goes. First up here, though, within a couple minutes, we're going to have a driver's meeting. It's actually going to be right here by our pit. So maybe you guys can listen in and see all the good, important information that we get at the driver's meeting and information that's how the day is going to go. I can tell you how the day is going to go. It's a long day. There's hundreds of race cars here today, 14 divisions. We're going to be here for a long time. But hopefully we made the right calls.
I mean, the good news, COVID-wise, we're stuck here in the infield away from literally everybody, so,
yeah,
you know, we do have that.
So we are here in the infield, and I like being in the infield at this event here because there's so many cars in all the other pits. Everybody's stacked on top of each other. It's tough to move around. It's tough to get to the track. It's tough to get to the stands to watch. We don't get to see the whole track here, but we get to see the finish line, and hopefully we're looking at us here at the finish line. Here's the thing with, we came in at 5 3/4, but we ran that left rear lower pressure wise, so that left rear is going to grow. With these left rears, if you run it under the 10, they kind of shrink down. If you run them over the 10, they take off. So we're going out at 11. We can go out at 12, close that up a little bit for you. So I'll have them set it at 12. That should get us to about what we had here last time for stagger.
You want to introduce the driver?
Oh, so this is the driver. This is the guy we've been waiting for. Had to do his hair this morning.
Clean these up right
Clean
here.
his eyebrow. This is Matt Seavey, a longtime friend who's come on board to help us out this year, drive the car. He's actually more skilled than I am, which is why he's in the car. He's also 70 pounds lighter, which might be the reason. We're going to watch what Matt eats today so we can keep the car nice and light.
I'm not normally a person eating the track anyways.
Not a big.
I feel like that's a lie. I've seen donuts, but
I did steal a donut, but it's Octoberfest. It's early in the morning.
It's Octoberfest. It's early in the morning. But yeah, we're happy to have Matt on board. Like I said, he's definitely a skilled driver, very knowledgeable, and we're trying to get this thing to the front as a team.
Ben, you guys getting it ready? Checking all the tires and stuff before he goes out for practice?
Checking all the tires. We got a new tire on the right front. We're just doing all the tire pressures. We're being really careful with the measuring this time because last race at the Memorial, it was pushing a lot. You know.
Driver's meeting is currently that far away, and my uncle is still managed to be late. Think of your dad being late to the driver's meeting with such a long walk.
Dude, I'm used to it.
Yeah, you're used to being late?
Yeah. Well, him being late.
Oh, we get to fire engines now. We get to bring this thing to life. Practice is going to start. Methanol motor. First, we're going to bring up the oil pressure, then the fuel pressure, and then we'll prime the injectors. And hopefully, this thing starts up, gets some heat in the motor. It doesn't look it, but it's fall here up in New England. It's cold, so we're going to get heat in the motor so we can get ready to go. Whoa, hey now.
Like our
So definitely not a good start. We've got a leaking fuel injection line. That's not something we carry for a spare. We've got a short period of time before practice starts, so I got to get hustling and find one.
That one right there. You're good?
So here we go. We found another fuel line from Paul Dangerous Scally, the number 30. This is ours, broken, leaking, hidden up under there. Didn't find it till I went to fire the motor. However, he doesn't have an O-ring, so I went to take the O-ring off. O-ring's broken, so now my hunt is for an O-ring, which I have 100 of back at the shop. Unfortunately, not here at the track, so I'll be back. All right, So we found the broken fuel line, the line that was leaking on the barrel valve, the injection, mechanical injection. So I scrambled around. Paul Scally loaned us one. He didn't have the O-ring on his, so we borrowed from the A1 Mike Horn a hose just to take the O-ring. So we got Paul Scally's hose, Mike Horn's O-ring. You know, this is what NEMA Racing's all about, Northeastern Midget Association. Anybody walks around with a broken part or anything, bunch of guys ready to help them. So hopefully we'll get out there for the practice, and the line that Paul gave us doesn't look much better than ours, but it's not leaking, so that's definitely that's a plus. So we just want to get on the track and see what the changes we did will do.
So just while it's quiet, conveniently, there are the two teams that helped us. Paul, good friend of ours, has always been good to us, and Mike, been with the club for a while, also good friends of ours. So we make it out to practice thanks to them. Good neighbors.
Ow. Is that your foot? The front's like, the tires are cold, the front's hopping. Yeah, we went out, the car was good in the beginning. It was a little free, but then the stagger closed up on the back and it tightened right up. Probably a good 3/4 to an inch of stagger, so just gonna loosen it up for the next round and see how it goes.
The front end push is still there coming off of the corner, just doesn't have any bite. So he's finally letting me lower the front pan hard bar, and we'll see what it does. If it doesn't work, I'll probably be running and hiding from him when he comes in. Just kidding.
said, Seymour looked at it, said it looked like a clogged nozzle.
So right now you're just pulling plugs and injectors, trying to check.
I want to check the rockers.
Uh-oh.
All the nozzles don't look clogged. Spark plug looks like it's not firing, which is surprising.
Yeah, so just something for anybody viewing this at home. We found that this header right here was cold compared to the other ones. So kind of an indication that that cylinder number one there isn't firing.
They rarely ever need any adjustment, but a few thousandths, I didn't think much of it. But I don't know if just over tighten it or it was a sign of it starting to go. Probably a sign of it starting to go. I didn't notice any cracks in it or anything at the time, so it was starting to flex probably. So we're gonna see, take them off, go out, and get about 2% chance one of the parts trucks out in the pits may have rockers, but pretty slim chance. Yeah, he'd probably just look at it and shake his head and say, oh shit, that sucks. Yeah.
front, but stiffening that right rear definitely helped because I could drive in a lot deeper.
Even deeper. Okay.
Yeah, I was full throttle right to the center right there in 1 and 2. I fixed part of my problem in 3 and 4 is I just, believe it or not, watching that little kid just stick that right rear out there where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it just, especially turn 3 going into 3 and it coming across. I can drive across down to the center, but it's tight coming off. It's still tight coming off a little bit.
You got 5 inches of stagger.
So we have plenty of spacers in there, so grab the spacers and another nut.
So you want to
tighten it this time.
You want to reflect on that one?
What's that?
Want to reflect real quick? You have a minute. forth?
So he said the car's better into the entry, you can go in deeper than last time. So the spring change in the rear, good choice. He said still tight off, but we aired on side of caution with the stagger. So we have plenty of room to go with stagger, so we can hopefully we can free it up off. We're going to lower the panhard bar, which is all the changes that we had talked about doing to get the car to hook up. And we still haven't put our good tires on. We're going to put them on for the heat race, scuff them in so we have them the rest of the night. So hopefully this thing's going to hook up and go.
Hey Mitchell.
What?
Why'd you forget to bolt the wing on?
I didn't.
Whose fault is this?
Dennis's.
Alright, so pretty much what went down with the car is that the first cylinder, the rocker, and the first cylinder pretty much snapped, which caused the car to start skipping, and that's not very good. It was going good at the start of the practice, and then Matt pulled in because the car started to skip, and we took a look at it. A lot of fuel was leaking, and we found out that the rocker broke. They didn't have an extra part over at the part truck. No one really has an extra spare. So it looks like it's the end of the race day for us. We're just hoping that Dennis and Matt and the other guys over there do pretty good with their light car.
The rocker is not something typically carry spare parts of to the track. I may have the spare part at home, not 100% sure. Just assume take it home, get it in the garage and fix it right, you know. I only have one motor. It's got to last me, you know, about 20 more years before I retire. So I say that sarcastically, but I just want to do it right. So I'm not racing for points for the championship. Not this year. Maybe next. Doesn't hurt to dream.
All right, so we're getting ready to qualify. So far the day hasn't really gone how we hoped. We broke a fuel line before we even got going. You guys have seen all that probably by now. We've thrown 3 new springs at the car, made a bunch of changes, all things for the most part that we planned on doing. Now we're getting ready to qualify. We lowered the panhard bar 1 hole on the left, which equivalates to 1 3/8 on the right. Huge change, try to get the car to bite in the center of the corner for him. And new tires for the qualifier. We have to scuff them before the feature. We held out because we really wanted to see how the car was going to react. So we're headed out for the qualifier. He starts outside front row first qualifier. I'm pretty sure if he just has a decent heat race finish, we should be starting within the top 3 spots in the feature. So that's what we're hoping to do. Getting ready to go.
picked the throttle up in the center of the corner, and it just and then the last couple laps, I tried keeping more throttle and just keeping a lot more brake into it, but still we break up.
Motor's breaking down. We're trying to figure it out. This nozzle didn't look too great, so I cleaned it out. There was a lot of speedy dry on the track earlier. Gonna check the barrel valve, check everything. Car's still tight in the center of the corner. A little better off, but we got to get it. We're getting killed in the center of the corner. So got third in the qualifier. You know, for us that's a good run. But you know, last week we won the qualifier. That was even better. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, we started outside pole. We had sticker tires on the outside. Car was good first couple laps. And then it started developing a push in the center of the corner. And we got right out of the gate. When we started outside pole, we got the lead for a couple laps, and I got passed on the outside. But then halfway onto the race, the motor started breaking up. So it was kind of upsetting the car in the center of the corner.
Going back into the garage, what we were doing last video, you'll see he's got the leak down tester out. So
yeah, this time I'm going after the barrel valve. So barrel valve's wrong. We checked the barrel valve controls when everything opens up, and at idle it should have a certain amount of bleed by. We set it typically at 10%, so when I bring it up to 100 psi, my gauge leaking at the barrel valve should be at 90, so that I'm leaking out 10%. So right now we're at 12, so I'm going to back it up to 10% and see if that fixes the idle, and hopefully it does. A gremlin. Obviously there's a gremlin in the goddamn car. What do you think's causing it?
Yeah, gremlins. I used to have one in my old truck that locked the doors on itself.
So, did you find it?
We don't know. We think we've got it back. I mean, the barrel valve was off. The nozzles seem dirty. Seems like it loads up when it comes back down. So I don't know if that's what it's doing to them, if it's loading up in the corner.
It's not popping.
Not
popping. If you let off the throttle, if it's loading up, it pop out the exhaust as soon as you pick the throttle back up. It's not doing that at all. It just cuts out and kind of gurgles a little bit. And then,
do you think it's running out of gas?
well, like I said, it's not popping. At any time last time we were here when it was doing it, it'd have a blue flame coming out the exhaust. It's not running hot. It could be, that would mean it would be too fat.
Yeah. So we're sucking the right front end an inch to try to free up the car in the center of the corner. And the car's really good on entry, but in the center we're getting killed. So far that's the only change that we have agreed on. Matt and I are still chewing on everything else, so we may make more changes before the feature. Kind of want to see how the temperature goes, and if we're going to be running under darkness, this place really loosens up. So we don't want to take too much, introduce too much stagger into the car, because that's going to make it too free. So right now we've agreed on pulling in the right front.
Need to do what my dad was talking about, where we pull in the right front. Ryan here is going to swap wheels. We got two different offsets on these wheels, and yep, that's how it's done. So got the tire spoons, the bead breaker, and they are getting those tires swapped over. Something fun. Just people probably don't know about a lot of race cars. one nut. Not a whole bunch of lugs, just one. One big one, one giant bar.
Hollow axle.
One tiny.
Descend in. Tighten the lug nut.
Yeah, it's feature time. We're going off third, qualified. That's the important thing. We'll see. Made a lot of changes to the car. I hope I fixed the running problem in the middle of the corners. I made a last second tire pressure adjustment because it got really cold. I don't want to free up the car that much. This track really frees up. So hopefully I made the right calls. If not, sorry, Matt.
straightaway and the motor was just struggling. So I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I was more worried that the motor was tightening up. Whenever you had anybody that's ever raced, that's ever had a motor tighten up on them, they know that feeling, and that's what that thing was doing. So that's why I came in right off. And with the vibration, I knew something wasn't right.
Grinding on it, slowing it down.
And it wasn't getting any better. So I was like, because at first I'm like, oh, maybe I got a tire going down, maybe I got some rubber stuck in the tire. Nope. And then when it tightened up, and I kind of got spooked.
Yep. All right, so essentially what we've discovered happened, we broke the torque ball on the torque tube. It's all part of the whole drive system here. Torque ball broke and it actually started to rub on the U-joint, so that was the sort of feeling and the binding that Matt was feeling there. You know, it's most unfortunate, but it's kind of looking like we're going to need a new torque tube for next race next weekend at Thompson.
Hey guys, tough night at the races. It happens. Broke a torque tube. Might have been a problem we've been chasing for a little bit. Thanks for joining in. Got a lot of likes on our first video. If you like it, what you're seeing, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to Home Track so you can see what we're doing. Thanks again for stopping by, and tune in next week so you can see how we fix this thing and where we go from there. Hopefully we make it to the World Series at Thompson next week. A lot of things up in the air for that, but I'm going to give it the effort. See ya.